So he starts to yell at Frank, and that was my first year. And I grab his arm, and I go, oh, shit. I just grabbed the governor. Hi, I'm Drew Shirk. I was Governor Inslee's legislative director for 7 sessions. Passionate, dedicated, and exasperating.
Let's say from my perspective, he was patient, of me, impatient for progress, optimistic.
Dedicated, caring, and impatient.
He is passionate, hard-headed, but he's human.
Fun, committed, principled.
Optimistic, forward-thinking, and innovative.
Compassionate, motivated, and caring.
Unstoppable. That's the first one. Super smart, if I can count those 2 words as one. Super smart. Creative.
He is passionate, he is enthusiastic, and he is caring.
A saint, smart. The power behind everything.
Patience of a saint. I know that's more than, well, that is 3 words, but I'd say that. So understanding, supportive, calming force.
Dedicated, caring, and patient.
Loving, funny, and genuine.
Trudi is extremely kind, always has great snacks, really smart and strategic.
Committed, loving, and fun.
Trudi is caring. She thinks of others and is just a wonderful person.
Compassionate, motivated, and caring.
Unflappable. Extra smart. And gracious.
I can't, how do you describe the kindest, nicest, most thoughtful, caring individual that walks this earth?
I don't know which of the 1960s movies to pull from.
I am the governor. He likes to remind us that he is the governor, and we are actually very aware that he's the governor. Yeah.
There's so many. My favorite expression, which the governor may not even know is an expression of his, but that we always said it was, "Get me Dean Tacko's barber." This is when he was trying to lobby Dean Tacko, the state senator, on climate stuff. And he had this idea that if he could just like talk to regular people in Dean's district. So he used to say, "Get me Dean Tacko's barber." So that was my favorite.
That doesn't cut the mustard. Or when you talk about Trump and the guy couldn't run a 2-car funeral, nobody actually ever knew what that meant, but he would say it a lot.
He would call and we would debate a policy idea of his, sometimes late into the evening, and I always knew I had won when he would say, all I'm saying is think about it. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is think about it.
Can I veto the budget now, or should I tell them later?
Okay, what was your hardest day on the job?
Whenever he said that. Which was about every other day during session.
I think the hardest was during COVID, just whenever that was, when it just really hit us all what we were facing. And you could just sense it from from everybody that like, this is all there is right now. That everything we have, all the energy we have is going into this to save lives.
There were a lot of hard days on the job, but I think during the COVID-19 pandemic where it was basically the communications, legal, and David Postman in the office with the gov, and that was it. So a lot of COVID days.
I think one of the hardest days on the job was when we had the Oso landslide and heard the news about how many fatalities there were.
Hardest day on the job, there have been a few. I'll start with March of 2013, the Skagit River Bridge, 2014, Oso landslide, and in 2020, the COVID pandemic.
As hard as COVID was, we could talk about that for a long time. Hardest day for me was when the Dobbs decision came out. Eviscerating Roe versus Wade, even though our state is so protective of reproductive freedom and reproductive rights, the impact on women and girls nationwide is stunning and frightening, and now we need to reverse Dobbs.
Vaccine prioritization during COVID, so the early days of vaccines coming in and trying to figure out who got to have them first was really challenging.
The proudest day was when we passed the Climate Commitment Act, something that drove him his entire career, seemed impossible in every different iteration that we tried to do, and then to finally get it was really an awesome day.
The day that I really think I was proudest to be in the office may have been the day the governor announced his end to the death penalty in Washington state.
Also COVID days. COVID days, definitely all of those times. And I would say also we went to the airport and did a press conference when Trump brought down the Muslim ban. And so the governor and other leaders were there at SeaTac Airport. That was a pretty proud day.
My proudest day was the very beginning of the second year when he put a moratorium on the death penalty. I think he immediately recognized the impact it would have, and it felt historic, which it was.
Proudest day on the job. There are a lot, so that's hard to choose from. I think one of the days I was proudest to work for Jay Inslee was actually during the Trump administration, when he was the first governor to come stand up against the Muslim travel ban.
You know, what comes to mind is when the day that we rolled out his first proposed budget, that first year, and I remember looking around the room and seeing who was there and how happy they were with what the governor was putting forth. And it felt to me like the first time in a long time where this budget had really strong values and really strong concern for people and for the underprivileged. It was just such an incredibly strong statement of values, and I just felt so proud to be working for this guy who that was what he was about, and that was what he meant to do, and that was what he woke up every day trying to do, was sort of help those less fortunate, and felt really proud to be part of his team.
Proudest day on the job, the inauguration in 2013.
Proudest day of the job. Boy, there were a lot of great days. I liked passing the transportation package in 2015. It was a great day.
Proudest day. So many good days, so much to be proud of. It's really hard to pick one thing. But I think what I would pick is being made aware of an article written about state Supreme Courts and the diversity on those courts, and that Washington State really has achieved the most diverse state Supreme Court in the nation and in the history of our nation.
You know, this is an interesting one. I didn't feel it at the time, but I have grown more and more proud of it the more distance we get from it. And it's the day we issued the executive order requiring kids to go back to school during COVID and making sure we prioritize kids' education.
One thing people don't know about Trudi, but should.
I don't know how much they know her outside. She's hilarious. I mean, the governor's got a great sense of humor, but Trudi is right there with him, and traveling with them, being at events with them it's like having the two best, dinner table mates ever.
She knows everything and she remembers everything. And she brings snacks in her purse when you go on international trips.
I think it's the sense of humor. She really is funny, and it comes out in ways that you only see in some of the private moments.
You know, what's wonderful about being part of the Inslee family is it's a family. And I think, I mean, that has a lot to do with the governor, but it maybe has even more to do with Trudi. She really sort of invites and holds us all together as family, and I think that allows us to show up with our whole selves, sort of, and our hearts, not just our minds.
She's the Jay whisperer.
Trudi attends to the details of some of the hardest questions, like youth homelessness, in a way that she should get full credit for how much thoughtfulness goes into the work that this administration did on those things.
The code word that she uses to tell the governor to stop telling stories is flamingo.
Luckily, up next here is Drew Shirk, who really is probably the best impersonator on the staff. He really was.
Oh, I did as Benny Hill. You know when he's there. So when the governor goes out to visit any place he ever goes, you'll see pictures of him doing his best Benny Hill imitation. And he's looking around, inspecting everything, and the hands are always real high. And so whenever I would see that, I would send him the picture of Benny Hill doing this skit.